Welcome to episode 300 and something of the show. Yes, I have lost track of what episode we are on right now, but don't worry, after we're done with this recording, I'll jump back in, have a look at the stats, and see where we are exactly. But I think we've gone over 310. I think we should be about 315, 316, maybe 17. But anyway, I'll confirm, and so at the next recording, you will know the exact number of episodes that we have done. So, anyway, welcome and thanks for tuning in again to the show. And this has to be Nigeria's longest running business podcast dedicated to the art and the science of sales and personal selling. And that's what we concern ourselves with over here on the show. How do we open up conversations? How do we push conversations through? How do we move the business agenda along? How do we handle sales, networking, and all things that are one-to-one connection related? So those are the sorts of things that we talk about over here on the podcast. And even though we're going to take the locus and we're going to take the starting point for people involved in the events business and the weddings business, you'll find that stuff that we talk about over here apply whatever business that you are in. And in fact, we've had testimonials in the past, people sending me messages to say how they find useful stuff and how relevant it is. And we've had feedback from people in the tech space, in the entertainment industry, one masseuse, a couple of lawyers, let's see, what else? So I've gotten testimonials basically from people in other business spheres and spheres of life, even 9-to-5 oriented people who say that the things that we discuss over here on the podcast are relevant. And so, if this is the sort of thing that you are looking for, then hang around. Not only hang around and have fun, but please also at the end of the show, remember to share and recommend to other people who haven't seen the light and who are listening to other, loads of other entertainment or gist podcasts that are out there in the market in Nigeria. Anyway, not to say those podcasts are bad, but I would say this podcast is better. So use that to entertain yourself and then come over here for some edutainment. So with that out of the way, let's get into the topic of the day. I have spoken about market validation routinely over here on the podcast, and the idea behind market validation is this: that when you have a thesis behind your business, you're going to put it out there and let the market decide whether it is worthwhile or worth pursuing or not. And then you don't take things personal. So it's one of these things that, it's not about you and how you feel. And it's not about your feels, basically, but it's about whether your idea is able to pass muster with the market. And if it's not, then it's up to you to go back to the drawing board, see how you can review things, and then you take another shot again. But one reason why I'm keen about talking about market validation over here on the show is because people in the wedding and the event space, and it's not just something limited to event practitioners and wedding practitioners, but people who consider themselves artists really take things personal when things don't go according to plan. So that is why I keep reiterating the gospel again and again, that it's not about your personal validation, it's about market validation. So don't drive your personal validation from what goes on in the business. It's just business. So it's all about market validation. And the example that I've given time and time again was about how when I came into wedding photography close to a decade ago, my own thesis was that people are tired of being photoshopped. And so if you come along and you're able to produce classy and tasteful wedding photography without all the whole Photoshop, you should be able to make a killing. Now, I must admit, I have not been able to validate that thesis, but I have found other people in Lagos, notably, who are making a killing off of that and have shown that the idea is valid. And so it's going to be the same with you. I've also given another example about a client of mine who is in the decor business, but she doesn't like gold, gold finishings and stuff like that at home because she thinks it's too, what's that word? Is it gouche or gouche? Gouche. Anyway, so she thinks it's gouche and it doesn't look too good. It's not sophisticated and it's not classy. And so she's looking for much more modern finishings. But she knows that she's going against what the market seems to be over here in Abuja anyway, for, gold trimmings, gold curtains, gold fittings, stuff like that. And she's looking for a much more modern feel, and her business is built around that thesis that the whole thing about gold and loud decor in the house is already done, but there's a market for people who want things much more understated, much more sophisticated and cosmopolitan, much more rustic, stuff like that. And so far, she seems to be making it work. She is finding those kinds of clients. So it's about market validation. So it's not that you put out your idea, things don't seem to be working, and then you say, oh, it's me, I must be bad, I must be lazy, oh, I'm unlucky, they're chasing me from the village, people don't want my progress, blah, blah, blah. I'm too tall, I'm too short, I'm too fat, I'm too thin, I talk too fast, I talk too slow. It's none of that. Well, all those things, yes, might be important at the end of the day, whether you have well-wishers or not, or whether you're articulate or not. But primarily, have you been able to achieve market validation with your idea? So that's how it should be for all of us. And I want to give one practical example about this that I found out a couple of days ago, and I find it really interesting, kind of odd anyway. So it would turn out that the people who are behind YouTube in the beginning, what they were looking for was a video dating app. Video dating basically was the idea that they were pursuing. And I find that really strange. Like, how do they think they were going to execute that? Like, I don't know. I would create my profile and put up videos of me saying stuff, and then maybe somebody would find me attractive and then want to date me. Or anyway, I have no idea how that was supposed to work, and I didn't see what the original idea was before it became YouTube. But basically, they put the idea out. That was of a video dating site, but it didn't catch on. But they found that people were using the video in other ways, and so with the validation that they got, they were able to switch over to another idea of what eventually became YouTube. And that's the sort of thing that I would like those of us who are in the more creative spaces, in quote, to adopt as well. That it is about market validation. We have a thesis, we have an idea, we approach the market. Let's see how the market responds. The market can give us useful information about what they want and where we should go. Now, of course, they took the feedback on board and then they pivoted, and right now they're YouTube, and YouTube is supposedly the second biggest search engine after Google. I think they were acquired by Google, so it didn't do too badly for them. But I guess, if it was you and you figured out that video dating was going to be a thing and that's not the direction that you wanted to go, like the YouTube, whatever, then I guess the question would be, okay, with the information that I've gotten so far, how can we make this video dating thing work? But bottom line, what I'm trying to say is the market is going to give you feedback. Take that feedback. It is about market validation. We should always be looking for market validation in our businesses and not personal validation. So when things go wrong, it's not because you are a bad person, and it's not because of your personal faults. Yeah, your faults can contribute to it, but I'm just saying that the primary reason is going to be you haven't achieved market validation. So in our businesses, whether you're a photographer, wedding planner, you sell inverter batteries, you sell solar, you sell shoes on Instagram, you're a carpenter, whatever it is, it's about market validation. So keep that at the forefront of your mind and keep the feelings out of it the best you can. And let's not get things clouded, because if you speak to any of your friends who are photographers, wedding planners or whatever, you realize that when you get into that funk, that whole woe is me, it can last a while. If you get into the funk Monday and you don't get out of it by Wednesday or Thursday, that's basically a good chunk of your week already gone. So let's remember that in whatever businesses that we're involved in, market validation first and not personal validation. when we try to put our idea out into the market, we're getting lots of valuable feedback from people who say, I like this, this is good, double down on this, I don't like this, this is wrong. I mean, of course, you also have to become much more skilled at asking questions during the feedback process. And that is part of what we talk about here on the podcast when we talk about qualification frameworks and getting down to the need or to the root, to the vision that the client has in mind. So you have to be really adept at handling conversations and asking questions. So all these other related skills, very important, and there's stuff that we also talk about ad nauseum on the podcast. So if you want to find out more about that, after you're done with this episode, you can just skip back to the menu, scroll down. Eventually, you're going to find a podcast header that has qualification in the title. Then you look into that and you're going to find a whole lot more about question asking techniques and how that plays into business and your sales process. So that's it pretty much for today. Let's not get down in the dumps because it's all about market validation. So thank you very much for listening to the Sales for the Nigerian Wedding Industry podcast. I'm your host, Abuja-based sales and business consultant Tavishima Ayede, an event media professional. Thank you very much for your time and attention. I'll catch you guys at the next recording. Remember to share and recommend other people who you think could use the gospel that we discuss over here on the show. Any questions, comments, or queries, remember that you can reach out to me using the community feature in Spotify or using the voice note feature in Anchor. So please reach out. It would be nice to hear from you guys. That's apart from the WhatsApp messages and the DMs that I get on Instagram. So that's it pretty much for today. We've hit the 10-minute mark, and let me bring it to a close here. And I'll catch you guys again tomorrow at the next recording, where hopefully I keep dropping valuable nuggets and keep contributing to this swell that we have going on over here in this part of the internet. I mean, those of us who are concerned about edutainment. So I'll do my bit, contribute to that so that we can see how we can grow our businesses and develop ourselves one conversation at a time, one interaction at a time. So thank you very much for listening. I'll catch you guys at the next recording.